Come on over, it's time for Tim Friend.
Hey, welcome to Tim Friend. We're doing a little something special today. It's something I'm tentatively calling Love This Game. We're gonna play it. I'm gonna show you what a game that I love is, even though it might not be a great fit for a longer series. This game is called Slay the Spire. It is a roguelike deck builder single player game. I know I hit you with a bunch of genre jargon there, but we're gonna get into it. You'll sort of see how it goes. I'm gonna talk about why I like it, and why I play it. We're gonna take it down to an easy level so that I can mostly just talk instead of having to really bear down. First thing, the graphics. It's not the most amazing, but I mean, I'm a man who plays emulated Fire Emblem games, and fan-hacked, I guess, Fire Emblem games and Pokemon randomizer runs. I don't give a shit too much, and the gameplay is so good that it won't matter. So we're going to be going through a bunch of monsters and events. We've got a deck of cards that we'll be using to fight enemy. I know, already great. We start off with a bunch of pretty much garbage cards. They're serviceable, but almost every card that we can get will be better than this one, or than any of these. We get a bonus to start off with from this giant alien whale, who wants us to go into this spire. That's why it's Slay the Spire. There's a big spire. Where he gives us a bonus. It's semi-randomized. We're gonna upgrade a card just because it's easy to understand. Every card has its regular form, and it has like an upgraded form where it does more damage or gives more block, or this one applies an extra stack of vulnerable. We're gonna do that one because we like making the opponents vulnerable. This is the sort of roguelike aspect of it. It's sort of like FTL, if you played FTL, where you can sort of choose your path through it and sort of see what's coming up. We've got a little gremlin face right here. That's a regular enemy fight. We've got a question mark. That's an event. It could be an enemy fight or it could be something else. We've got a campfire where you can rest, you can heal, or you can upgrade a card depending on if you have already done your shit. We've got elites, which are these gremlins with the little big horns there. And we got this, which is the shop. And then there's this guy who's just like a super elite. Not like a super elite, but he's an elite, and then he's buffed. You can get like 3 color-coded keys that will let you unlock the secret 4th boss, quote-unquote. And at the end of the first floor, there is a boss. This sort of shows, if you know what the bosses are, this indicates which one it is. But we don't, because we haven't got there yet. Whoa. You always start off with a little regular-ass monster fight. So we're going to start with that. We're going to go here. Start in the middle. Alright, so this is what a fight looked like in the Slay the Spire. We've got our enemies, got their health, their names, and this is what these are called intents. It's what they're going to do. So this little spike slime small is going to smack me for 5 damage. This acid slime medium is going to smack me for 7 damage and put a negative effect on me. That's pretty bad. The way I can prevent damage is by getting block. So if I play this defend card, I gain 5 block. Shows up as this. That reduces enemy incoming damage by 5, so that'll get rid of all of this damage, and then this will go completely through into my body. Another way I could have done this is by smacking the spike slime with as much damage as I could, and which would have killed it. The reason I can't play every card in this hand, though, is because I have energies. Everyone's got 3 energy per turn. Everyone meaning all the player characters do. You can see each card has an energy cost in its top left. All your starter cards, except for Bash Plus, which costs 2, they all cost 1 energy. So we're basically getting 2 or 3 cards every turn. So since I've sort of locked myself into not killing the spike slime, it has 14 health. I do 6 damage per strike. It would take 3 strikes to kill it. So I can't do that because I had already played a defend. We're going to smack it with 1 strike. We're going to take 2 damage total because we got 10 block. That's 5. And bink! Took 2. The 5 is the blocked damage. The negative effect the Acid Slime put on me was Slimed. It's a status card. When we draw that, it just does nothing. It's just a fucking dead card in my hand. We always draw up to 5 cards, and any cards we don't play go to hell. They go to hell. Let's see. All right, there's 15 damage coming in, a 5 and a 10. If we kill the Spike Slime with either our bash or 2 strikes, doesn't matter which, then we'll take 10. If we block and then kill, we'll take 5. So I think the response is to kill Spike Slime and take 5 block. The reason I'm not just enduring this damage is because outside of the little campfire nodes, you just do not heal between fights. It's a bummer. So making sure you can block as much damage as possible over the course of a fight is very important for your longevity. Our character, the Ironclad, he's got a big sword. This one means they're just going to put a negative effect on me. No attack damage. So this sort of lets us go crazy with hits. Bash does a bunch of damage because we got Bash Plus. And also puts vulnerable on them, which makes us do 50% more damage with attacks. Every card is either an attack, or a skill, or a status, or a power. We don't have any powers yet, but we probably will get a power. So now that he's vulnerable, all our attacks, you can see the number on the card go from 6 to 9. Nice. As we mouse over the enemy. 9. And next turn, as long as we draw a strike, which we're guaranteed to draw, we will kill it. Now, we've seen more cards than there are in our deck. We've seen more than 10 cards. We've seen Bash 3 times now. That's because this is a deck building game. It's sort of pretty classic in that respect. As we go through our deck, we will be discarding the cards we don't and do play. And then once we run out of cards to draw, we just shuffle our discard pile back into our deck, and that's our new deck to draw from. After every fight, actually, you get to choose a card to add to your hand. Not to your hand, to your deck. And this will be in there permanently. It's an interesting concept. That's you get to alter your deck as you go through the donjon. We are going to add a Clash. Clash is a 0-cost card that can only be played if every card in your hand is an attack. Now that seems pretty specific, but it's better than you might think. At least the one time I've experienced it, I had a good time. Alright, so this is a regular, like a little random event. As you walk into the room, you hear the gurgling and the grinding of metals. Before you is a slime-like creature that ate too much scrap for its own good. From the center of the creature, you see glints of strange light, perhaps something magical. It looks like you can get some treasure if you reach inside its opening. However, the acid and sharp objects may hurt. So, we can reach inside, take 3 damage, and have a 25% chance to lose a relic. Relics go up here. Every character starts off with 1 relic that is unique to them. The Ironclad starts with Burning Blood, which heals you for 6 HP. It's pretty fucking valuable for him. Relics are almost always great. There's very few relics that really... I mean, they always alter how you play. Alright, let's fuck it. Let's do it. We're almost at max. Didn't get a relic. But you can keep trying again until you do. You just take more damage. So we got the Torii. Whenever we would take 5 or less unblocked damage, we take 1 instead. It's pretty great. Well, hopefully we'll get to see that in action. And that's the fundamentals. We're gonna be going through these semi-randomized fights until we get to the boss, and then there's like another floor, and then another floor after that. Each floor has its own boss and its own sort of to defend, so that we can do a bash and a clash. Bash and clash, that's what they call it. But each zone, each of these rooms is called a floor. That's why we're on the 3rd floor now. I think it's 50 floors total. Excuse me. But every zone, node, every place has its own selection of enemies, which you will see, and elites as well. We're going to go straight up for those elites, see if we can beat them, because the elites, not only are they cool, but they can give us some relics as well. This event lets us remove a card from our deck and lose 7 HP. We are absolutely going to do that. Removing cards from your deck is really cool. I'm going to get rid of... Should I get rid of Strike or Defend? I'm going to get rid of Defend. This is one of the cards we picked up is Iron Wave, which is an attack that gains 5 block and deals 5 damage. I like it because it works well with Clash. It's an attack that gives you block. But it still counts as an attack for the purposes of Clash. Now we're going to go this way. What do we get? What do we get? We get a chest. Hell yeah. A chest always has a relic in it and probably some dollars. Nope, no dollars. So we get the Singing Bowl or a Sapphire Key. It's one of the keys. You can either choose a relic or get the key. I'm going to choose the Bowl. When adding cards to your deck, you may raise your max HP by 2. I love doing that shit, because sometimes, eventually you'll get so many cards that you don't really want to add anymore to your deck. You don't always want to add the things that they give you to your deck. Oh my god, I forgot. So a thing I like about this game is that as you beat it, you'll unlock harder difficulties. They're called Ascension levels. Every time you go up an Ascension level, you do so by beating your highest Ascension level. You unlock the next level. You'll see, like, the game get harder in some respect. Like, in Ascension level 1, which you unlock after just beating anything, I think, it makes elite enemies spawn more often. This is an elite enemy. It's very tough. They're called sentries. They take turns shooting for 9 damage and then putting status cards in our deck, which really blow. Let's see. But in higher Ascension levels, they do more damage, and I'm not used to seeing them do only 9. I'm used to seeing them do 10 damage. It's weird. This is a super elite. I don't know what the technical term is. I call them super elites. Which means it has a buff of some kind, namely regenerate. So they all gain 3 HP every turn. Impolite. They all also have artifact. They're kind of like constructs. If you see like a roboid golem type creature, then it probably has artifact, which makes it like every instance of artifact will negate a debuff. So if we try to put bash on Sentry 3 over here, then it's not going to become vulnerable because the artifact will negate the vulnerable. So we're just going to murder him. Just plain old murder him. As our Iron Wave coming out gives us some block. You'll notice that the Tori will flash when we take this 9 points of damage, because it's going to... The block reduces it to 4, and then the Torii reduces that to 1, because it's 5 or less unblocked damage. Very nice, very cool. You can see the dazed status effects coming into our hand. They are ethereal, which means they just get exhausted at the end of your turn if you haven't played them. Since we can't play them because they have the unplayable keyword, they're just gonna go away. When they're exhausted, that just means they're removed from your deck for this game. And since it's a status effect, it's not gonna come back, which is very, very polite. But they still take up space in our deck because we're only drawing 5 cards every turn. Pretty rough. Or 6 cards? No, 5 cards. So we're just gonna have to chew through these sentries. These sentries they're pretty challenging for me when I first started playing the game. The strategy is to take either the front one or the back one out as soon as you can. Oh man, Clash is going to blow against these sentries because status cards, we can't get rid of Dazed, and it's not an attack, so we just can't play Clash at all. Bummer. What was I saying? So sentries can take you apart, especially if you let the front and back ones stay alive for too long, because it's very difficult to run up with 18 to 20 block this early in the game every other turn. But if you can kill the front or the back one, then they'll just alternate hitting you for 9 damage, which is much more manageable. Especially since we got the Tor. We'd be taking way more damage if we weren't reducing it to 1 every time we can half block one of their attacks. Yeah, just focusing fire on them is the way to go with this stuff. I'll use Bash on that one just because it would would kill the first sentry. It's important to it's priority 1, killing the last enemy. Priority 2, killing an enemy. Priority 3, blocking as much damage as you can, I would say. Priority 4, doing as much damage as you can. Real sad about this Clash Dazed anti-combo going on, especially as we're going to take the full 9 damage. Woo! It hurts. We're down to almost half health. It's, oh, now you give me block. So it is randomized. We don't know what order the cards in our draw pile are, and every time we shuffle it back into the draw pile, it's a completely new order. It's completely randomized, which makes it sometimes it's a bit of a luck-based game, but there's still enough knowledge and knowing what you have, knowing what they're going to do, especially with the enemy broadcasting their intents every turn. Oh, our relic, the Red Skull. While our HP is at 50% or lower, we have 3 additional strength. Every point of strength we have just adds 1 to the damage we deal with attacks. It's pretty good. We also have potions. They're semi-rare drops from enemies. They're just one-time effects. They're pretty good. We can only have 3. We only have 3 slots on our potion belt. This, you can see this one has like a little gold banner. That means it's a rare card. These gray banners means they are common. And then we have a blue one. No, a blue one means it's uncommon. We haven't seen like any duplicates, which is rad. There's a bunch of cards in this game, and you start with some, and as you play through, you'll unlock more. But that goes by pretty quick. Even if you lose, you're sort of making progress towards unlocking new cards, which I appreciate because it's a roguelike game. Getting all the way to the end is difficile. It don't happen very often, and beating the secret 4th boss is like you have to have a very specific deck to do that. So it's rough. Brutality. This is a power, so it will just be like a buff on me for the rest of the fight. At the start of your turn, lose an HP and draw a card. Headbutt, deal 9 damage, put a card from your discard pile on top of your draw pile, okay. Flex, gain 2 strength, at the end of the turn, lose 2 strength. So it just buffs all the rest of your attacks this turn. Let's do brutality so we can, I'm gonna show you what power do, how power to go. We're gonna go to this event. Yep, and the event is a fight. No big deal, no big deal. We're gonna play these blocks so that we can play Clash, and I mean, strike, because Iron Wave, even though it's basically an attack and a defend in the same card, it technically does 1 less damage. One of the weird parts of the lore of Slay the Spire is that there's some kind of bird god deep within the Spire, and we see cultists and acolytes of it who dress up like birds. He's got a ritual buff going on, so at the end of his turn he will gain 3 strength. Every turn he will do that, which is pretty scary. So the longer you leave him alive, the more damage he's going to do to you. We didn't get any defense, which is rough. His first attack does 6. We lose a life and draw a card. Beep. And see, now he's going to do 9. That's a thing that happens a lot in this game is scaling. The enemies will scale over time. Not just like, oh, cool, it's later in the dungeon, so the enemy is stronger. It's more like, ooh. I do love Shrug It Off. It's a good card. Gives us a block and we draw a card from our deck. Very nice, very nice. We're going to Smith. Brutality starts off in her hand. That's pretty nice. Or Iron Wave, making it 7 block and 7 damage. I do like that. Let's do Iron Wave. It is very good. And then we get a chest halfway through every big zone. I still don't know what to call it other than floor. You get a chest. Yay! Inside the chest we get some money. We get the pen nib. Every 10th attack you play deals double damage. Or we get the sapphire key. I mean, fuck it. So you get the emerald key from fighting a super elite and winning. The blue key from refusing a relic. And the red key you get from not smithing or resting at a campfire. I didn't point it out, but it was there. At the last campfire we went to. This is another elite you find in the first area. It's called the Gremlin Knob. He's a DPS check. I mean DPS, DPR, I guess, whatever. He gets the ability Enrage. Whenever we play a skill, he gets 2 strength, which sucks for us, because that's where most classes get all their block from. He also hits super hard for 14 damage. It's rough stuff. Fortunately, we have the Iron Wave card, which is an attack that gives us blocks. We can at least somewhat ameliorate the huge amount of horseshit that's coming at us. He's only using his biggie attack right now, his biggie smalls attack. But he sort of has 2 different types of attack. One is Iron Wave, and the other is Skull Bash, or not Iron Wave. It's got Skull Bash and just hit a lot. Skull Bash, he does less damage, but it'll make you vulnerable, which sucks. Oh, it's so bad. Being vulnerable against this guy means you're going to take a lot of damage. You can see our red skull is flashing. It means we're below 50%. It's kicked in with our +3 strength. And since he's at low enough HP, you can just strike him away. So it's the elites, and I mean the enemies. Ooh, an ancient tea set. Whenever we enter a rest site, campfire, start the next combat with 2 more energy. Pretty dope. Let's see. Do we want any of these? I'm thinking Flex. F it, right? Because it's a skill which has anti-synergy with Clash, but it's a skill that costs 0, which means it's pretty easy to cast. We got 3 louses. We're gonna start blocking. That's 20 damage coming at us. So at least now it's 1. It's pretty rough. These lice are they're a fairly easy enemy, but when you hit them, they gain block once per combat. So like this guy is gonna hit us for 7. If we hit him for shit. What are we gonna do? I think we're gonna hit this louse. So his curl up disappeared and he gained 4 blocks and he has 8 effective health. We're gonna gain brutality. We're going to gain some block, and since our red skull is active, our strike deals 3 additional damage, which is enough to go through the block and kill this louse. And we will take, once again, 1 damage from these total of lice because of our Alright. So we can flex, gives us strength. We can defend. Even though they're not attacking, you know why we're doing this. It's to get Clash. And we can Clash away this biggest louse because the block doesn't come into play until after the attack's damage. So the lice will web us. They will attack us and they will grow, which gives them a little bit of strength. As you can see, it's another scaling over time enemy. Not every enemy scales over time, but many do. So it sort of adds a clock to you. I don't know, just sitting on your ass and hoping to stall them out. I've seen Flex a lot. It's fine. Clothesline deals damage and applies weak, which makes the enemy deal less damage with their attack. It's sort of like Bash, but for weak. Body Slam just deals damage equal to your block, which is it's pretty good. It's not the best, but you can make a deck based around block that makes this card very, very strong. We're going to increase our max HP by 2, because I'm not particularly thrilled by any of them. It also increases our current HP, which is nice. Alright, we're at a campfire. Resting heals your HP for 30% of your maximum. What's our map? You can check your map from anywhere. We're going to hit an enemy, then an event, and then another rest site, and then the boss. So we're gonna smith, because we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Flex Plus gives us 4 strength. Adds 4 damage to all the cards we play for that turn. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. And our T set kicks in because we just visited a rest site. Now we have an amazing 5 energy, which is perfect for this hand that does not even cost 5 energy. But we can wail into him with those 3 strikes and defend his rake down to 2. This guy's a slaver. I hate slavers. I mean, for one, slavery's bad, you know? That's not the greatest. But also there's a really annoying elites fight in the second over level that just it's a bunch of slavers and they hurt a lot. Alright, we to block all his damage to 0. Very nice. Brutality will kick in. We only get 1 skill, so we can pop that. Pop Clash. Iron Wave. And strike him. He's gone. Done, son. You can only have 3 potions, and then you have to get rid of 1. I'm going to... Ooh, I'm going to get rid of this skill. Put in the poison potion. Poison potion. Oh, yes, I'll go to put the poison potion. How many skills do we even have? We got like 4 skills that aren't flex. I don't even count flex because it's fucking 0 cost. We'll pick up another clash. F it, right? We're gonna fight the first boss, and then I think we're gonna call this an episode of Love This Game, right? That's what it's called. There's another event. Sometimes you don't have a choice, or you have a choice, but you don't have like a neutral choice. It's always something. So we're either gonna gain money, lose HP, or we're just gonna lose money. We don't have a shop coming up, so we're just gonna lose money. You decide that this mess is not worth it. The shop is where we can spend money. It's always got some cards for you to buy. It's got some relics for you to buy. It's got some potions for you to buy. We'll heal because it's the boss. I'm afraid. This has got potions for you to buy, and you can also pay the shop to remove 1 card from your deck per shop. All right, let's get the boss. This is the Guardian. He's got 240 HP. If we hit him 30 damage, he'll switch to a defensive mode. What does that mean? You'll find out next time. Yu-Gi-Oh! No, this time we're still gonna be playing this game. Don't worry. Don't worry. All right, so it looks like he's going to block somehow. What's he gonna do? He's charging up. Destroy, destroy, destroy. He gains 9 block. He's gonna hit us for 32 damage. Woo, mamacitas. Okay. So there's a trick. Bosses always come with sort of a weird jams going on. Instead of trying to block for 32, we're just gonna put him in his defensive stance. Bip. When he goes into defensive stance, it cancels out whatever he was doing, and he's going to buff himself. I already know what the buff is, but you don't. Ha! He also gives himself 20 block, which, I mean, fuck it. We're gonna throw a poison potion on him. Boop! Because in poison 6. So at the start of his turn, he's gonna take 6 damage and then reduce the poison value by 1. So next turn after that, he'll take 5, 4, and then 3, and then 2, and then 1, etc. This is important because poison ignores block. We can just end that turn. We don't give a shit. He goes defensive mode. He's defending. So he gains Sharp Hide, which gives him Thorns 3. So whenever we hit him, we're going to take 3 damage. Funnily enough, that actually makes us take 1 damage if it's unblocked from our Toratai. And this is every attack we do on him. So bam, we bashed him, took 3. And bam, we're going to clash him, take another 1 because it gets rid of our block. And now we take 9 full damage from his attack. Ooh, ah. He takes 5 from the poison. Pow, 9. Now he's going to do 16 damage. 8. He's going to hit us for 8 twice. This works exactly how you would expect it to. So we can block it, and we can block it, and we can block it. So we've got 18 block. He's going to hit us for 16 total. But we can clash him 21 because he's vulnerable. Very, very nice. And that means we're only going to take 1 damage from his 8 hits. So his 2 hits of 8. We hit. They still go against the same block. If we had done something like that to him, we would have taken the 3 thorns damage from every hit we did to him. It's rough. Now he's trying to deal 20 damage to us. Oh man, 5 or less unblocked damage though. That means we're going to take 1 damage from every hit of his. I shouldn't have even blocked. This is joke status. So we're about to take 3 damage. Check it out. Bing, 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 bing. Very, very nice. That's the power of the Home Depot right there. Now we can flex. And we can clash. And we can clash again. Go right through that block. Don't give a shit. Strike him. Strike him. And Iron Wave. Delicious. So everything stacks. So we've got +4 strength from our flex. And then the vulnerable also kicks in, so we were doing like 15 damage with our strikes there, which normally hit for 6. Very, very, very nice. Very nice indeed. He's back into his defense mode. This is we pretty much have this in the bag. This gain 7 block, do the damage. I think we can just, we'll just bop him with bash. Boop. Kills him. Done. First boss done. First zone, area, place done. We get a potion. And we get to add a rare card to our deck. Every time you beat a boss, you get to add a card, and all your options are rare cards. It's very nice. It's very, very nice. So we're going to do Impervious, gain 30 block and exhausted, which means once per battle you can gain 30 block within your hand. Then you get a boss chest, which gives you a choice of 3 relics, and they're all like a special category called boss relics. It's very, very nice. Got the Astrolabe, which transforms 3 cards, then upgrades them. Transformed cards become a random card of any rarity. Crazy. And then it upgrades them. Runic Pyramid. You don't discard your unplayed cards. Pretty cool. Can F you, but pretty cool. And the Runic Cube, whenever you lose HP, draw a card. It's like that Brutality power. But we'd be drawing 2 cards instead. It's crazy. Let's do the Astrolabe so we can see transforming cards. This is not like my favorite card to use, but also, fuck it, right? We're almost done here. So we turn 2 strikes into defend and 3 totally new cards. We got Flex, another Flex Plus, I think. What is that? Yeah, Flex Plus. And Cleave, 11 damage to all enemies. And Rampage deals 8. And then it increases this card's damage by 8 this combat. So every time you play Rampage, it gets stronger. And then you proceed. We beat the first thing jam. Now we're in the second act. That's what they're called, acts. The city. And then you repeat. We'll do the city, fight the boss there, and then there's another act, and then there's the final act, which we could theoretically get. But this game it's very simple. It's very transparent. And when I say simple, I mean it's simple to learn. It's very transparent. It tells you exactly what the enemy's going to do. I'm not exactly, but it tells you exactly how much damage you're going to take. It tells you exactly how much damage you're going to do, which is a thing that I like from Fire Emblem. I hate the trend of JRPGs not telling you how much damage you're going to do or take, especially with their stats. It's a single-player game. It's very stressful. I know we kind of breezed through that first act, but this is on Ascension level 0, and this is from someone like I'm trying to crack Ascension level 5 with all 3 characters, and then I'll be on Ascension level 6. There's 20 Ascension levels. It gets way harder. And doing the 4th and final act, I mean, it's still a victory even if you just get there, which is very polite of you, game. There's also a daily run every day, so like, we'll save and quit this one. Ooh, and we go back to the start. We take it back to the start. Let's abandon that run. Yeah, F that one. There's also a daily climb, so there's like every day there's some new thing, like Chimera. We start as the Ironclad, but our starting deck is a fusion of all the 3 characters. Colorless cards, which are neutral cards, we most often see them in the shop. And enemies drop 200% more gold, but you can't upgrade your cards at rest sites. That's crazy. And then you can see the score. There's always people fucking hacking it or whatever, but who gives a shit? You can try your best. You can do a really cool thing. I never do well, but whatever. F it. And then you can do a custom run where you choose your character, you choose your ascension level, and then you can put on all these crazy little mods to it. It's awesome. It's a lot of the stuff that you would normally see in the daily runs. And anyway, all right, I like this game because it's a single-player game that's challenging. It's short. Like doing that first act took 30 minutes, and that was with me talking the whole time. So you can very easily finish a run in less than that. Usually you're doing it because you're dying, or you can beat all 3 acts in less than an hour. There's an achievement for doing that, I think. But yeah, it's a really good time. It's deep. It makes you feel good. Deck builder games do this very well in that they let you feel like a fucking badass when you get an awesome deck together, and this game is no stranger to that. Like there's whole categories of decks just called infinite decks where you just don't even let the enemy take a turn, because you're just playing your deck over and over again, because everything's cost 0 and drawing a card, or some crazy efficiency strat. It's makes you feel very good like that. It feels punishing, but never, I don't know, like sometimes it never feels like unfair, because it's never springing like, once you've seen all the enemies, you're not going to see new enemies, I guess, which is redundant, but there's only 3 options for bosses in every act, and they all have their own gimmicks, so it's like one guy hates on decks that just play a shit ton of cards every turn. So if you make a deck that plays a shit ton of cards every turn and you happen to fight that boss, it's like, well, that sucks. You should still try to beat him anyway, but maybe next time you'll make a deck that is not based around that entire thing. Then you can beat that guy or something. I don't know. And it's challenging enough to keep you coming back to it, and not unfair enough to make you feel like you can't beat it. Like, you always feel like you can, which I very much like, especially in a roguelike. And unlike a lot of other roguelikes, it's a turn-based game. It's not super stressful. You can get up and go to the bathroom. You can take your time to think about what you're doing. Very polite. Very thank you, Mega Crit Games. It's coming out for the Nintendo Switch, I think, at the end of this month, but it's on Steam right now. I hard recommend this game. I love this game. Bye, everybody.
With him friend.